Okay, today we are going to work on adding and subtracting with story problems. So, when we see rational numbers in life, we have to know whether it describes like a positive number or a negative number, so we know whether to add or subtract. So some different words you might see, and I'm going to type them in here and then talk about them so you can write down what you want. One of the first words for positive would be credit. So that could be like store credit. If you take a shirt back to a store and they give you store credit, that's a positive because you have money to spend there. Another one would be like receives. That would represent positive. If she receives $5, that would be positive. Deposit, that's one that kids always get mixed up on. A deposit is you're putting money into your bank. So your balance is going up. So that would, anytime you deposit something, it's a good thing. Revenue has to do with, revenue. If you own a business and you're making money, that is your revenue. That's your income. And then we would have the word income or like salary. So from your job, your income is how much you make. So that's a positive thing. Profit is when you own a business and it's making money, like you're making more money than you're spending on like paying your employees or paying your bills there, like your utility bills and rent. That's a profit for your business. Increase, that's pretty easy. Increase is going up, so that would be positive. Like if you increase an elevation on a plane, that would be going up. A gain, in football, that's a good thing, so that'd be positive. If you gain weight, like myself, that's not good, but unfortunately it is a plus positive because it's adding weight to yourself. Okay, and there's many more too. You can add some if you think you know them. Okay, negative, we have the word owe. That means you need to pay it back. Like if you borrow money, then you owe that much money back. If you have debt, some kids have like college debt, so they borrowed money and now they have to pay it back. So that would be a negative. Or like credit card debt with your parents, that would be negative. Decrease, going down. So that would be a negative. Like if the money that you have in your checking account decreases, that means you're subtracting. A deficit, sometimes you hear that like on the news, our economy, we have a deficit. That means like we owe money. A loss, so in football, you lose yards. Or when I ever lose this weight, that's going to be a good thing, but it's minusing weight. You could have a loss in business. If your business pays more out in bills and to the people that work for them, and then they don't make enough money, that's a loss. A loan is when you borrow money. So even though that gives you money, it's actually making you negative, like you're owing it. Okay, if you deduct something on people's paychecks, the government deducts money for taxes, or like if they pay for their insurance out of their paycheck, that would be an deduction. Under would represent negative. Withdrawal. And that is the opposite of deposit. I think I spelled that wrong. No, I guess not. Doesn't look right. No. That would be like taking money out of your bank account. You're withdrawing it. So even though some people get confused because they think, well, they're putting it in like their pocket, you're withdrawing it from your bank account. So it's minusing, it's taking it out. So you need to think through the different situations that you're presented with, and then you follow the rules for adding and subtracting. And you can draw a number line to help. Okay, so during a drought, the local lake was 2 1/4 feet below. So that's kind of a key word there, below normal levels. 2 weeks later, the water level dropped an additional. So how far below was the water after 2 weeks? So you can write in these boxes. You don't have to. I just kind of tend to underline. So that's what I know is where I underlined. What you need to know is kind of the total. So I'm just going to use that. And then your plan and work is where you do your work. So if the lake was below, it's 2 1/4 negative, because that's meaning below. And then we're going to add, because we're going further, we're going to add an additional -1 3/8 because it's dropping. And then you go ahead and do that, which you should already know how to do. So we have two negatives. So we're going to add and keep the sign. And you need to find your common denominator. So that would be 8 times by 2. And so we end up being a -3 5/8 below. And we should label that feet. That way it makes you think back to if your answer makes sense, which it does because you keep going down. So it's going to get more big away from 0. Okay, next one. Jonathan borrowed $800 from his grandparents. So you're borrowing to start a lawn mowing business. After mowing lawns for a month and paying his expenses, he was able to pay them $188.56. So those are the things that you know. He borrowed $800 and he paid back. You need to know how much does he still owe. So still owe. So you can actually do this two different ways. I think of it as if he borrowed, he's kind of like in the hole -800. And then we're going to add 188.56 because he's kind of making his way out of the hole from what he owes them. And so when you add those, they're opposite signs. So you actually subtract and you take the sign of the bigger number. And so you get -611.44. And I'm saying it's negative because he owes. Okay, you could also do it as, you could think of it the other way around, is that he has 800 and then he paid them 188.56. And so then the total is a positive 611. So either way really works, because if you use the word owes, that represents the same as the negative answer. So as long as you're particular on your labels, if you use the word owes, and then we got the dollar sign. Okay, number 3, some of those words are confusing to some people. So we have on Monday, Melody checks her bank and has this much. That's a good thing. She knows she'll get paid on Friday and earn, so that means she's getting money. She pays her bills, so this is paying. So that's going to be withdrawing. And what is it at the end? So I'm just going to write what we want to know is her balance. Okay, so we're going to start with the 437.23, and we're going to deposit the amount that she got paid, and that's $673.35. And then we're going to take away how much she pays for her bills, $582. And remember, you can always pause it and do the work yourself. And you get $90.39 left. So that would be her bank account. And go back and make sure it makes sense. She started with 400 and some and earned another couple hundred. And then she used almost all of it. So you're left with just a little bit left. Pretty real life. Takes a lot to live. Okay, so make sure you do the homework that goes with this.